Mr. Trump, good to see you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the book.
Thank you very much.
It's already doing well.
It's doing very well.
I see people downstairs. They're lining up, getting ready for your Friday.
That's right. I'm signing at 2 o'clock at Trump Tower. We're signing books, so that'll be great.
Everybody's seeking Donald Trump's endorsement. Today is Newt Gingrich Day. You're going to spend time with Newt. What are your thoughts on him prior to him coming in here today?
Well, I've spent time with most of them, and we've gone through, Herman Cain was up, a wonderful guy, had a couple of really tough weeks, bad weeks. Mitt Romney, all of them. Michelle Bachmann, spoke with Santorum. It's, a lot of good people, and they're in there trying, they're in there pitching, they want to do something. And Newt's coming up today. I've known Newt over the years, and I've always liked Newt. But it's amazing what's happened. He's really shown he's a rocket ship. I've never seen anything like this, where he started so negatively. I thought the press was very unfair, what he said, where he was doing the show, and all of a sudden they took some words and they made it like a big deal. And nobody would have said he could have recovered, not so much from that, just generally.
Yeah, they had written him off.
They had totally written him off. And he's a rocket. What he's done is amazing, and I take my hat off to him.
All right, you are going to work with Newsmax, and you're going to host a debate.
That's right.
And it's created some controversy here. The media doesn't seem to like it. They're attacking you for this.
Well, I can understand that.
Well, I understand that, too.
Because they're not doing it.
That's exactly. That's probably why.
I'm a ratings machine, according to everybody. I get great ratings. That's why The Apprentice is 12.
Listen, I'll be there. We'll put it on Fox if you want.
You have to be there.
I'll be there for that.
That's good.
And you're doing it with Newsmax. Ron Paul said it's beneath the office of the presidency. He doesn't understand your success. You don't like to be challenged on issues. That was his reaction.
Well, I don't know what he means by that. I'm challenged all the time, and I respond. Unlike a lot of other people, I respond. Look, Ron Paul has zero chance, of getting elected or getting the nomination. He'll do okay in Iowa, and after Iowa, he'll fade into oblivion. So Ron Paul, frankly, that some of these people aren't there. Huntsman is another one. He called my office. I don't know if you know this. Wanted a meeting. I didn't give it to him. Maybe I should have. I didn't give it to him. But he wanted to come up and see me. And then I see him at a debate saying, unlike you people, I didn't go and see Donald Trump. So he's a Mormon, so I'm sure he wouldn't lie about it. But the fact is that all of these people, the two people that we're talking about, I'm glad they're not going to be there, because then I can sort of focus on people that really have a chance of winning. And you have some very good people, and people are going to be at that debate. And I'll tell you, it will get great ratings.
You're missing one person in your invite list.
Go ahead.
Barack Obama.
Well, look, I wish he were a great president. I'm a Republican, but I'd love to see a great president. Democrat, Republican, independent, anything. I wish we had a great president. And, as I've said to you before, I really thought when he got elected, he got elected. So now you say, okay, we have a man. I thought he was going to be a positive person. I really thought he was going to be a cheerleader, a great cheerleader for the country. That was the one thing I saw. I thought he'd be a cheerleader for the country. And he's really turned out to be a negative force, a very, very negative force with class warfare and everything else that's going on. And I'm really surprised and disappointed at that.
What do you make of the evolution of the polls? We talked about Newt skyrocketing. Why do you think he's skyrocketing? Why do you think Romney's been fairly steady?
Well, he's been steady, and it's surprising to me that Mitt doesn't pick up something, because like Herman gets out and there's a lot of votes out there, they seem to be going to Newt, and Mitt isn't getting the kind of traction. It amazes me, a couple of things. It amazes me that Newt has done so well so quickly, and I have great respect for it. And I have great respect for him. But what he's done is sort of unprecedented. And it amazes me that, frankly, Mitt Romney hasn't sort of gotten that momentum, because he's been steady in a sense, but you have to be more than steady.
What do you think it is? Look, I think both of them have performed well in the debates.
Both are really good at the debates.
But Newt probably did a little better.
Well, I think they were both really good at the debates. I think Romney was great. I think Newt was great. They were the two stars in a sense. Although, Michelle Bachmann did very well in the debates, in all fairness, and so did Santorum. You had some, and then you had a couple that didn't do so well. Do we agree? They didn't do so well. And we like them a lot, but they just didn't do so well. And actually, Rick Perry told me it's just not his thing. When you're with Rick Perry, he's another one. Good guy, solid guy, wonderful. I said to him once, he was with me and he was giving me something. I said, why can't you act that way during the debates? And he said, it's just not my thing. But the debates turned out to be very important. But I would agree, Newt and Mitt did very well in the debates.
What do you think of Christie's comments that Obama is a bystander? What the hell are we paying you for?
I thought they were true. I thought they were 100%. This committee is a disgrace. That it was formed is the most disgraceful thing, because you're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to get those people in a room and get a deal, not just form a committee that can't make a deal. And I thought that Chris Christie's statements were great.
Yeah, but that was a pretty shocking statement.
That's a beautiful statement.
That'd be like you saying, well, I hope my kids succeed. I'm not worried about the rest of the world.
The country is in such trouble. And if we have another 4 years like we've gone through with the kind of thinking that we're going through, it's going to be very, very hard for this country to come back, Sean.
You said in your book that we have 4 to 8 years, or else America can't recover, you say.
Well, the word can't is too tough, but it will take a very, very long time for us. If we continue to go, Obamacare is a disaster. I have friends that are closing up businesses because they're not going to be able to afford Obamacare. These are people that have been in business for 40 years, have nice, middle-sized, and even small businesses. They're closing up their business. I can tell you there are big companies where these aren't going to close, but they cannot believe the kind of cost that's being, handled by their accounting people are coming and say, we had no idea this was going to be happening, and they're going to be changing their numbers for next year and the year after. They can't believe what's going on with Obamacare.
Do you think Herman Cain was treated unfair? There's been no proof of the allegations.
Right.
I would think, especially this most recent allegation, is easily proven false. Either there are hotel receipts, plane ticket receipts, videos of them somewhere, or they're not. Do you think he was treated unfairly?
Well, it was a tough thing for him. I mean, they were coming out of the woodwork. And frankly, I guess based on that, John Kennedy should not have been president, right? Mm-hmm. So other people should
even
not
when you
have
got in the race, though, Donald Trump's racist. They immediately went right for the jugular.
Yeah, they always do. If you ask about somebody's records in school, how did he get into Harvard? How did he get into Columbia? I thought he was a bad student here, so how did he get into here and there? You're a racist. I said, what? What does this have? I didn't even know what they were talking about, because I'm probably the least racist person there is. And actually, some of my friends said very strongly, the least. So you ask a question like that, or you ask about a birth certificate. How come there are no records that his mother was ever in the hospital? He's a racist. I'm saying, excuse me? Could you please explain that to me? So, they play the race card better than anybody I've known since Don King, who I happen to love, but he plays the race card in order, Don King played it brilliantly for many years, and he will admit it. But they play the race card like nobody ever has played it.
All right, so the name of your book is Time to Get Tough, Making America Number One Again.
Right.
You say in there, right now the country's in a total economic disaster, $15 trillion in debt. You used a couple of analogies. You said it would take $1 billion if we saved it every single day. It would take 38 years to pay back the $15 trillion. It's not going to happen.
Here's the thing. If we had people that were intelligent or people that knew what they were doing, let's take Libya, just as an example. The rebels 6 months ago were being routed, and you saw that Gaddafi, he was tough. Even at the end, his people stuck with him, the few people that were left, but they all died. Okay, so they had certain loyalty to this guy. They were routing the rebels, routing. So the rebels come to us, because we are essentially NATO, and they say, we're being routed, we can't go on any longer, it's over. Would you help us? If Obama said, we will help you, we want 50% of your oil, and we will help you. I don't mean for 1 year. I mean, we want 50% of you. They would have said, you have a deal, absolutely, you have a deal, done, over, sign right here, boom, 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 if we help 50%. Okay, now, we then send the most sophisticated missiles ever made, and wherever you have Gaddafi's people, boom, 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 doing it, okay. So after doing that to about 30 cities, the rebels won the war. Okay, they won. The rebels, whoever the rebels are. I think I hear a lot of them come from Iran, by the way.
Well, they all want Sharia now.
So we could have had. That's right. You watch what the rebels are, because I hear bad things about the rebels. By the way, the rebels sounds like Gone with the Wind. Okay, the rebels are not good people. But let's see what happens. So we could have had 50% of the oil of Libya, which, by the way, we don't get oil from Libya. China does. So why isn't China involved? Why are we doing it? So we spend billions of dollars. We get nothing. Nothing. Now, if 6 months ago we said, we want 50% of your oil, they would have said absolutely. Now, if you walked in now and said, we want 50%, because they've already got their little local dictator as the head guy. He's going to make plenty of money. He'll have his palaces all over the place, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So all we need is the thinking. We have a country with such potential. But if somebody would have said, we're going to help you, but we want 50% of your oil, they would have said instantaneously, absolutely, you have a deal. They had no choice. Now they wouldn't say it.
You have a whole chapter, Take the Oil. And,
Right.
and I always thought this was a good idea. If we're going to liberate Kuwait, if we're going to liberate Iraq, we're going to lose American servicemen and women, at least compensate their families. But then they ought to pay the price for their freedom and liberation. To me, that's a no-brainer. We should have done that.
It's the most incredible thing, and I talk about it in my book.
Yeah.
I mean, big league
It's a
in
good
my
concept.
book. Iraq, they have the second largest oil fields in the world. We liberate Iraq. Now, we got thrown out of Iraq, by the way, just in case, you know, you have any doubt. He went to them, wanted to stay longer. They said, we don't want you. We can't get approval. You're out. Get out. So, you know, now they're talking about leaving. The fact is, Iran, as sure as you're sitting there, Iran soon, when we're out, will take over Iraq. And they're going to take them over because of the oil fields. And I said, if that's going to happen, we should take over the oil. We should take over the oil fields. It's very easy to do.
Well, we could have done it.
You know, in the old days when you won a war, you know, to the victor belong the spoils. We're so stupid that when we win a war, if you call it a win, when we win a war, we get nothing.
Yeah.
So we've spent $1.5 trillion in Iraq. $1.5 trillion. Now, at least we should say, give us the $1.5 trillion back, okay? I'd say more, but give us the $1.5 trillion.
And maybe compensate families that lost loved ones.
Well, I say it in the book. Every family that lost somebody, $5 million. You know what this is? This is like peanuts compared to the value of that.
Of their lives.
Every family that lost a son or a daughter, $5 million. Every person that was injured or wounded, and I see him all the time. I see him at events because I give a lot of money to charities having to do with
this
soldiers.
weekend.
Right. Some great stuff. But these people, no legs, no arms, their face, I mean, millions of dollars. Now, sounds like a lot, right? It's peanuts compared to the kind of value that you have.
I met a guy this weekend, lost 2 legs and an arm. Another guy lost a leg. Another guy, literally, shrapnel here all over his face. And
you know what they
nothing.
get? They get nothing. They won't even be able to survive. So I say, with those soldiers, $2, $3, $4 million. Now, people say, oh, that's a lot of money. It's peanuts. You're talking about the kind of money, the kind of wealth. You're talking about almost Saudi Arabia kind of oil. Nobody knows that Iraq has the second largest oil fields in the world.
We have the largest if we'd ever tap into it.
Well, we would have, I mean,
if you
honestly,
add oil shale to it.
The funny thing is, I talk about taking Libya. You would have absolutely gotten it from Libya.
Yeah.
You would have absolutely gotten it. And you still could get it from Iraq. You could absolutely 100% have. And yet, honestly, you don't even need it. Because, Sean, we have so much under the ground, and it's now finally people are realizing how much we have under our ground.
You talk about China is not our friend. You say Pakistan is not our friend. Iran is obviously not our friend. Russia is friend. Russia is not our friend. You have 7 principles that you have on foreign policy. One is no apology, maximum preparedness and firepower. If you go to war to win. You laid out these principles. We're not following a lot of them. We're apologizing for America Power right now.
We do apologize.
This president apologizes.
And if we win, and this is including Bush, because he was never taking the oil. You know, it's funny, when we went to Iraq originally, the smart people said, no, we're going for the oil. You remember that. We're going for the oil. And I said, okay, that's smart. But we weren't going for the oil. I never understood. What are we doing there? Because that country is in turmoil. That country will be taken over, definitely by Iran, and in the fairly near future. And I'm saying, what have we done? And you talk about the soldiers, dead, wounded, unbelievable young people. What are they going to get? Except they're going to have a life of doctors and bills that they can't afford. Millions of dollars should be given to each soldier's family that died, and millions of dollars for every soldier that was badly wounded. Millions.
You, in your book, talk about a lot of things financially. It's your money. You should keep more of it. You talk about a government you can afford. Here's the problem. If we can't cut $1.2 trillion in a super committee.
Unbelievable.
$1.2 trillion, that's only a reduction of the rate of increase. Every year, government's going to spend 8% more. Do you spend 8% more every year?
When times are bad, you just cut back.
You
It's
cut
very
back.
simple. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to increase government spending 8%. They'll cut 1% of that and say that's a cut. Not only is it a cut, we're going to throw grandma over the...
We should be cutting $4 or $5 trillion, and not necessarily devastating Medicare or Social Security, because I'm a little different than a lot of the Republicans and some of the Democrats. The good economy, the strength. Part of my book is tax China. Don't tax us. Tax China. For the privilege of them selling their crap in this country, tax China. We're giving them the privilege. One of the things I did, because nobody really knew, I'm a private person, I have a private company, I have a financial disclosure form. And it was fully filled out. It was 78 or 90 pages or 80 pages, a very long form. And I took the summary sheets and actually put them in the book.
Why?
Because
You're worth a lot of money.
I am. And I built a great company. So it comes out, now everyone's saying, wow, wow, wow. It's over $7 billion. It's a tremendous amount of cash, very low debt. Like this country should have. I mean, in a mini version, but like this country should have. And I'm very proud of the job I've done. And so I actually put that in the book. A little different, but I actually put my financial disclosure form in the book.
It's in there, all right. But you are going to endorse fairly soon. We're, 28 days away from
sometime after the debate. The
After
debate
the
is on the
debate.
27th,
Okay.
and after the debate, I'm going to endorse somebody. And I'd like to see that somebody be great and win.
Okay, so are you leaning towards one person?
I don't want to even say that now. Probably and possibly the answer is yes, but I don't sort of want to say that.
You can
now.
change your mind.
I can change my mind.
So you're in the middle
Even
of
if
the...
I am, I can absolutely. By the way, one of the things I talk about, Romney changed his mind or Newt changing. The fact is,
Everybody
you got to
cha-
change your mind.
Yeah.
People that don't change their mind, they're relegated to the trash can because it just doesn't work. You have to go with the punches.
Have you decided affirmatively that you're out? You're not going to get in?
No.
Do you think it's come down to Newt versus Romney? Do you agree with that?
It would certainly seem that way, and I like some of the other people running, but it would certainly seem that way. But you see what happened with Newt, how fast it can change. I mean, 3 weeks ago, Newt was not doing that well.
What would cause you to determine to get in as an independent? And then we're back to an old argument
I
we
know
have.
your stance on that very strongly.
No, you'll split the
Yeah, I know,
anti-Obama
but
vote.
I actually think we're at a time where the Republicans are hated. The Democrats are hated. There's a huge independent force out there, which is actually bigger than both parties, in my opinion. And I actually think we're at a different time than a Ross Perot who ran and absolutely caused Bush the election. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, he took a lot of votes away from Bush. I think that you have a great force of people out there that are tired of Republicans and Democrats, tired of committees, tired of incompetence, tired of stupidity, tired of a president that's not a very smart person, in my opinion.
What would cause you to get in?
If the Republicans pick the wrong candidate, and I hope they don't, if the Republicans pick a candidate that can't win, and if the economy continues to be bad, which I think it will because we have incompetent leadership.
All right. If it's Newt versus Romney, which you said
Right.
it appears like it's going to be, could you find yourself supporting either one of those?
I don't want to say, but I will tell you, I do respect both of them.
You do. So you'd be less likely if one of them got it.
I respect both of them.
That's a good answer. I mean, if you say that, that means you like both of them.
I respect both of them.
Because you're
very
pretty
much.
outspoken when you don't like somebody.
I do. I don't
like
want
if
to play
Rosie
games.
O'Donnell was running,
I don't want to play
could see
games with you.
if-
I do respect both of them.
If Rosie was in, you wouldn't run.
No,
You'd
I'd
run.
probably. Oh, then I'd run. Ooh, would I run?
I would pay to see that one. I think that would be pretty good. The bottom line here is that you talk a lot. You want to remind Obama in this book. I found this fascinating. This is a capitalist country.
Right.
What does it mean when you have to remind the President of the United States that this is a capitalist country?
It's the wrong message. And somebody said, is he doing it on purpose or is it just happening?
Background.
I think you feel
Acorn.
differently than me. I think, I know. Acorn,
Bill
that was
Ayers,
another
Black
view.
Liberation Theology, Jeremiah Wright. It's all rooted in socialism.
So
you
did
read.
Bill Ayers write his first book?
I don't know.
I think so.
Well, interestingly, Bill Ayers was bragging last week that he had done a fundraiser for Obama. Interestingly, when you read Black Liberation Theology, it's rooted in the concept, the idea of redistribution and
Right.
social justice.
Right.
So when he fights for Acorn, isn't that all social
Well,
justice?
I guess. I mean, I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'd like to say it's really not something that's covert. But let's see what happens. The bottom line, whether it is or it isn't, you need a change. You have to have a change, or we're in big trouble.
You talked about we must repeal Obamacare. And you said something else that was interesting in the book. You said you know, we've lost track with the self-reliance that was preached by our founding fathers. And you said by global standards, poor people in America are rich.
True. Well, that is true. But you know, the other thing I've said, and I very strongly talk about it in the book, and it's very rarely talked about during the debates, we are being destroyed from the outside in. We are making bad deals with the world. China's going to make $350 billion on us this year. Countries like Colombia, a small trading, going to make $4 billion. We don't make money with anybody.
But how do you implement what you're saying about China, for example?
Right. Very simply.
And not start a trade war?
A trade war is okay.
Trade war is okay.
Let me tell you, trade war is wonderful. You know why? Stupid people say, oh, we can't do. China taxes us when we sell our products. China doesn't want Caterpillar to send our tractors that are made in wherever they make them in this country. They want plants built in China. China taxes Caterpillar to send them in. Look at the crazy deal we just made with South Korea, where we open up, but they don't. I'm saying, who made these deals? So here's the thing, Sean. We are no longer a rich country. We can't afford to make deals. Can't afford to make deals like this. You know, in the past, we didn't used to. We used to make all the good deals. We had they were coming begging, every country. Now they look at us as a bunch of dopes, a bunch of patsies. And every country makes money with us.
Now, moments after my sit-down with Donald Trump, former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich arrived at the headquarters of the Trump Organization for a private meeting. But the only cameras that were allowed inside the room prior to that face-to-face encounter were ours. Take a look at this Hannity exclusive.
He's such a big figure. It dwarfs everything else I'm trying to say to you.
Oh, well, there's a good friendship there.
No, he's a great guy, and I've known him a long time.
I'm going to let you two have your meeting.
You take care of yourself.
Thank you.
I tried to convince him he ought to do the apprentice presidency. It's just sort of a...
That's right. Go boom, boom, boom,
I'm
boom.
looking forward to the Lincoln-style debates.
The debate's going to be very
I
fun.
said he missed one invitation, though, today. He should have invited Barack Obama to the debate that he's going to be running.
Well, maybe we just use a moderator on the phone.
It's
Very interesting.
There you go.
He's a wise guy.
I don't know. I think I'd like to see, I may pay to see Donald Trump moderate a debate between Obama and Gingrich. Who knows? Now we're just getting started tonight. Up next, former Clinton advisor Dick Morris is here with reaction to Herman Cain's departure from the presidential race. That and our great American panel coming up straight ahead.